can you learn from Wikipedia? Wikipedia as a tool on the internet is widely used by university students and other learners. But let's understand what this tool is and figure out how we can use it in a university setting. So the 2 points I want to make about Wikipedia are the following. Firstly is that Wikipedia is like any other encyclopedia and it follows the same structure. And the second point is that in a university setting, you want to use any encyclopedia as the starting point of research, not the destination. And so if you're quoting from an encyclopedia, any encyclopedia, you want to make sure that you dig deeper. You're actually indicating to your professor that you haven't done your work if you're quoting from encyclopedias. So let's discuss these 2 points. The first thing about structure. Wikipedia is the only difference between Wikipedia and other encyclopedias. And for example, I'm going to point out this other encyclopedia, which you can access through Clues, the library catalog, on the library website at Concordia University. This is called the International Encyclopedia of the Social and Behavioral Sciences, a great tool to use in business research and other kinds of research. There are 2 main differences between Wikipedia and this other encyclopedia. Let's click through. The first difference is, well, the one at the library we had to pay for. And yes, it is a digital encyclopedia. You can use it from anywhere on the internet, but we had to pay for it. Wikipedia is free. The other difference is that Wikipedia is edited by an open community of web users. And so if you feel an article is incorrect or imprecise, or you want to have a new article, you could set up an account on Wikipedia, create a page, edit pages, and then editors weigh in and discuss these changes and determine whether they're authoritative or not, or relevant or not, and various other things. In a traditional encyclopedia setting, you have a closed editorial process whereby a publisher assigns the work to an editor or a team of editors, and these editors find authors for specific pages, right? So in opposed to having this kind of bazaar mode, it's like a bazaar, people are exchanging ideas in this open framework, you actually have a very hierarchical method in the other types of encyclopedias. But in and of themselves, apart from these 2 main differences, encyclopedias are essentially all the same. Let me give you an example by doing the same search in both of these encyclopedias. Let's say I'm doing a paper on motivation. Here we go. Wikipedia is giving me its main article on motivation. Same thing here for the International Encyclopedia of the Behavioral and Social Sciences. Well, the first thing I notice is that the paid-for library encyclopedia gives me a result set of multiple entries that contain the phrase motivation. And so I could probably try to pick the one that's most appropriate for me. I'm just going to use the second one, which is the history of the concept, because I just wanted to learn more about motivation. Now, notice that, well, there's text and there's a table of content. That's great. This is what you use encyclopedias for, to learn about a topic. So we see that both of these have text, right? Essentially explaining to you the topic at hand. So that's very important. The second thing that you notice, if you go a little deeper, which is the case in most encyclopedias, let me just browse down here to the right section, is this See Also section. This is extremely important because, and both encyclopedias have this, this is a common feature in all encyclopedias. This is to make sure that you're at the right conceptual level, right? So the editors of the encyclopedia have thought about this concept and try to find what's more generic or a higher level concept that encompasses more things, that is more general, and more specific concepts that people sometimes confuse, right? And so if you're thinking about your personal motivation, well, then it's intrinsic motivation, and you want to learn more about that. So this See Also is kind of a way for you to understand where this concept fits in the sea of other knowledge, and to make sure that you're at the right level and using the right concept. And notice how both Wikipedia and the classic library encyclopedia have this feature, both of them. This is an essential feature for any encyclopedia. The last point, last structure is here, a reference list. And same thing with this other encyclopedia entry on motivation. Notice here, result set. These are the sources, these are the documents, the articles, the books that the authors of these entries have used to explain this concept. This, a long time ago, used to be how people searched. If you were starting a paper on a topic, you would go to a recent encyclopedia, look up a concept, make sure you're at the right conceptual level, read the entry to learn about the schools of thought, the history of the concept, and whatever else is going on. And then you learn, this is for you, that's the part where the encyclopedia is used, but you wouldn't quote that stuff from the encyclopedia on your paper. You would look up these additional sources. You would trace them down within the library collection, because remember, there was no internet at some point in the history of humanity. You would look up these sources in the university library, and then you would go from there. Those would be the sources that you would bring in your own bibliography. You discovered them because of the encyclopedia, and that's great. But you don't talk about the encyclopedia, right? Because that's what you use to learn. What you actually use to build the logic of your paper, your argument structure, and the evidence that you bring in your paper, while you use other sources for that, like books and articles from, the library collection. And so, in and of itself, Wikipedia is like any other encyclopedia, and any encyclopedia at a university level is the starting point of your research, not the end point. So if you're quoting from the encyclopedia, then you're probably not doing your job. You're signaling to your professor that you haven't dug any deeper. That's like a tell, right? You want to avoid that. You want to dig deeper. And so some professors dislike students using Wikipedia. I think that message is slightly wrong. What you should say is, in general, you don't quote encyclopedia entries in academic papers because you want to go deeper than the encyclopedia entry. And this applies to Wikipedia and any encyclopedia for that matter. What's been lost in the discussion about encyclopedias, I think, in my personal opinion, is their role in academic research. And Wikipedia is neither good nor bad. It's a tool, and like any other tool, you want to use it in the appropriate fashion. So how do we use encyclopedia or Wikipedia? Very simple. You read the entry, you understand where the concepts lie in the See Also link, and then you dig deeper by using the sources. Obviously, you can also use other search engines from the library or Google to find other quality information or authoritative information, but encyclopedias in and of themselves, including Wikipedia, starting point for your research, dig deeper, understand the words that you're using so that you can engage with your paper appropriately. And that's what you can learn from Wikipedia.